Welcome to Familiar Territory, an anime podcast hosted by two white dudes who've been friends for over 15 years. Here we talk about the history and influence of anime, as well as review anime new and old. So grab your talking cap and transform into some comfy clothes as we step into a familiar territory. My name is Grant.
And I'm Brantley.
Alright everybody, welcome back to Familiar Territory. Today we are going to watch a show called Magical Girl Raising Project. Now this was based off of a light novel, and it was turned into an anime in like 2014. So, Brantley, have you heard of this show?
I've been told of it by you, but like only briefly, in that like I know it butts up with Madoka. You know, you really liking Madoka personally. And I understand that it's in like the like edgy dark territory. But outside of that, like I have stayed away from it. Mostly because it's just not in my wing of interest.
Right. And it's to be fair, it's not on my wing of interest either. I didn't watch it because to me it looked edgy. Now, I think it's fair to say that Madoka could also be considered like an edgy magical girl show, but I think there's a difference between edgy and dark.
For sure. I'd like to think that one of the reasons why we really love the magical girl genre is the different places it gets taken. Derivatives, basically. Like, that's the advantage you have with genre fiction. You can assume some things going in, and you get to jump right into the novel or unique parts of a story, in the same sense that, like, you don't have to introduce the concept of superpowers in every single superhero story. You know, people don't have to be shocked from the ground up every single time that happens. Instead, you could just go, here's what's different, here's what's new, here's what I'm bringing to the table. You know, the dark aspects of the magical girl genre, we were going to get here at some point. And so I think that it's totally reasonable to enjoy it getting dark, but like you're saying, I think there's a difference between just having like a dark subject matter and completely failing the execution of darkness. And I think that's what we would consider edgy.
Right. And I haven't seen this show, so I'm not going to straight up be like, hey, this show is bad and edgy, because it might not be. It might be good. But the idea behind the show is there is an app that gives girls magical powers. So they become magical girls through an app, and then the app tells them that there are too many magical girls and they have to start killing each other. So right off the bat, you don't get the sort of wind down into the, I don't want to say deconstruction, but the sidewinder punches that they pull in Madoka, or the differences of the show having compared to something like Sailor Moon or Cardcaptor Sakura. It straight up right away is, hey, this is going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, this is a twist. They're just bam, right out the gate.
Right out the gate. And so this got me thinking, what is the edgiest anime you've seen? So not the darkest, not the one that makes you think, wow, that was dark and it put me in a place I didn't expect to go, but one that you kind of rolled your eyes because it was trying so hard to be this mature themed show with just tons and tons of violence or dark subject matter that really didn't fit or wasn't executed well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm excited. I think that's a
you didn't answer my question.
That's
I asked what is the edgiest anime you've seen?
The edgiest anime, that you know, I can't. I've seen like bits and pieces, like GIFs of some awful, demented shit, but I don't know the names to attach to them.
Right.
But like something like the darkest thing I've had to like sit through, and like did like consume all of it. That one's tough. Because I think all my answers there would be boring ones. So okay. I don't feel like holding things up. I'm gonna say Neon Genesis Evangelion probably goes darkest best from what I've seen. Not that show doesn't have its problems, but I've also seen just like turbo jank like Evil or Live.
Oh shit! I forgot about
which
Eat,
is
Pray,
about
Love.
like, hey, you're on the internet too much. We're sending you to a
Oh,
prison camp, where you're
I,
going to be abused.
I remember
Um,
that.
so yeah, complicated question, but I've
Right.
seen both ends of the spectrum. The good, the bad, the ugly. I think I'm ready for this. That's maybe
Okay.
a more appropriate way of describing it than I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. I get that. So we'll get started at this show. So we are watching it, of course, on Verve, and we
Mhm.
are starting right about
You'll
now.
give us a 3-2-1.
Oh, okay. Sorry. 3, 2, 1.
Go.
So right
Okay.
off the bat,
Bloody
just
hand.
bloody
Bloody feet.
ballerina shoes, like just straight up. See,
Underground concrete.
this to me is different. This to me is edgy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you just straight up have corpses of magical girls just hanging around, and it doesn't try and subvert your expectations. Instead, it's just straight up dead bodies.
It is honest. I really kind of love that they've started with this like incredibly explicit form of like darkness here. Like it's death and corpses and blood. And what appears to be a yandere smile of some sort, like a sadistic sort of face. But also they just threw in the most precure ass, bland looking Kingdom Hearts shadow monster I've ever seen outside of precure. Yeah. This is
it's kind of it's kind of shocking that they're trying to do the normal-esque magical girl opening.
Yeah.
Where in things like Madoka, where you get the opening and then it slowly kind of subverts your expectations. I will say there's probably going to be quite a bit of Madoka spoilers in this, but if
you
if
have
you've
been
seen
warned.
it's make Hamburger Country Girl.
Yeah,
So
I gotta say, I haven't liked a single one of these costumes yet.
it's really weird
worried.
because they all have giant doll heads.
Mm-hmm.
They look like dolls and not characters.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we've got this cast is all over the place in terms of designs. I get there's like the idea of like let's diversify where these characters are coming from in terms of backgrounds, but almost all of these are like tropes they've been done before. Here's like European fantasy knight girl, here's sexy ninja girl, and by the way, emphasis on girl. All of these that were sexualized we've seen so far 100% making us uncomfortable. But I think that's what we're walking into. Snow White, you've been appointed as a guardian. Wow, okay.
So we're getting the
this
the
is
app.
what? Oh, okay. I was gonna say this feels so weird.
So they're showing us how the app works that grants them their magic power. So it's like a gachapon, it seems.
Yeah. They are playing Battle Girl High School.
So we have this little mascot character who's giving this character some items.
It's just Monokuma from Danganronpa.
It really is, except instead of being a bear, it's like a slime from Dragon Quest.
Mm-hmm.
So she said no, and now she's getting offered her contract. So this is the familiar of this show, is this Danganronpa ass slime.
Is this just like a future sight into what army recruitment's going to become? They're going to catch on that like, wow, Netflix has this anime thing on there. We should start leaning on that.
And now
catch
you
some
are.
weebs. I do feel like
army.
Yeah. Weebs are such a significant portion of this strangely like right-wing gung-ho fight for freedom types. I don't know where that cross-section comes from, but I feel like I experienced that through high school. Oh no, are they debating whether they're not? Yep, they're debating magical girl terms here. We're getting clowned on.
they're talking about how they've seen magical girl sightings around the city, and of course they're all super blurry.
Mm-hmm.
And
because no one would take
"Are
a
they
second or
real?"
third picture.
So the magical girls don't seem to be fighting like shadow-esque monsters at the moment. They stopped a train and beat up some mobsters.
Yeah.
Which I like. I like that. I like the idea of just basic superheroes, but also magical girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it stands to question then like where this is going to. Okay, so here's what I was kind of wondering. Where does this become magical girls? And so it's in the optimism thematically of it, right? Like
Yeah. This
magical
girl's forehead is huge, by the way.
Love. Yeah.
But yeah, it seems that the idea is magical girl optimism, be a great person, save the world, and now kill each other is probably going to be the big turning point.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's going to happen in this episode. I wonder if we're going to get a ending of this episode where everything seems normal. So I'm
I mean, they've already started off abnormally, so
right, but I wonder if that's
end of this. Hold on, is her head really big right there? Or was that just me? Like that did not look right by perspective.
No, it was giant.
As an artist, art is hard, but whoa, that freaked me out.
So yeah. So they think that the magical girls that are being that are being seen are part of adult society to advertise the game.
Interesting. That's not unreasonable.
No, it's not. I mean, so far, besides the
intro and besides the opening, reasonable.
And the character designs are a little. It seems very early 2000s. With, I know anime always has big eyes and big heads, but it just seems uncomfortably big eyes and big heads.
They're going for that aesthetic, probably with a slight dodge at like Madoka style.
Yeah.
I guess this also looks a lot like modern Precure too.
Isn't
where they have like the gigantic eyes, big foreheads.
Yeah.
Though Precure gets a little wackier with its colors and everything. This is trying to mute it into more earth tones.
Yeah. So she's talking about how she loved magical girls when she was a kid, and now they're no longer for children. I mean, she grew up, so magical girls are for children.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can become a magical girl.
Boys can only become mages.
That's cute. Her little childhood friend wanting her to become a magical girl, and he's jealous of it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I mean, I like so far it's having some pretty interesting ideologies.
Mm-hmm.
But I just can already feel the execution just falling through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like this is I'm getting the gut feeling this is the kind of show that falls apart the longer it goes on.
Right.
If they didn't give that opener, then I probably would be in a much more favorable opinion of this.
Right. I wonder if they gave the opener because they wanted people to just straight up know what was going on right away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can respect that. As surprising as something like the sort of bait and switch style is, I'm personally against like the not having it prevents you from having like the content warnings, that would normally protect someone from something they're not ready for.
Okay, so now she's getting the event to make herself a magical girl. So the mascot character named Fav is asking if she wants to be a real magical girl.
I'm guessing it's supposed to be fave. Well, I'm gonna force you to say fave because fav is just gonna be weird.
Fave, okay.
Like it's my favorite, you know.
No, that makes sense. Oh, tap to become a magical girl.
Tap to become a magical girl. Did they release an app with this? I wonder.
I wouldn't put it past them. They do have a ton of characters. I actually didn't know this was a light novel when I first heard about it. I thought it was going to be a
like anime original,
like another gacha game because of the amount of characters they have.
Mm-hmm.
But so we get the transformation scene, which so far is fine. It's better than Battle Girl High School.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fair. It's not very fan servicey, which is nice. That's pretty good. I like her. I like her outfit. I think it looks good.
Mm-hmm. Hers is fine. Yeah, it matches her own blandness, I think.
Which is fair.
Yeah,
they're kind of doing the Madoka thing though. Oh, where the main character is the bland one.
Mm-hmm. Not a fan of that character design.
Not a fan.
It is interesting that they have aliases with their. Oh, you're not gonna tell us how how she's got out of that. I wish I had closure to that.
I didn't think they wanted the comedic effort of her trying to hide the fact that she just transformed into a magical girl before she went out to dinner.
Yeah,
might have been a little tone deaf, but
I suppose so. Even just knowing, does she have the power to, snap it off or something, or is the app controlling this? I don't know. They want to move fast. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
This really does feel like it leans into the superhero genre as much as or more than magical girls, because we have the secretive element has been there, but aliases too are interesting.
Which I don't have a problem with. I kind of think that would be fun to explore in a not battle royale murder your friend setting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Here we are. So now they did a little cut ahead after the. Okay. Oh. Okay. So yeah, she has enhanced abilities.
See, it does seem very. It's almost like in Spider-Man, where he's accidentally sticking to buses and accidentally just ripping things apart.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a phone.
That's an egg.
Oh. So they gave her a little egg, and so there's 15 magical girls in the city right now, which I'm sure we'll meet all of them.
We're too short from the Battle Girl High School starting roster. So maybe Battle Girl High School wasn't as strange as we thought.
So she's starting off. She saved a cat, and it's interesting because from what I remember, it is basically you're going to have to. There's too many magical girls, but 15 doesn't seem like too many in a giant city.
Yeah.
Especially when doing good deeds is all you need to do, and it's helping an old lady cross the street. It's not like you have a. Did she just find her key?
Yeah.
Sorry,
that's a little weird.
She could have just turned around. It was just on the floor. It's
if a stranger can find your key better than you can, then someone's gonna break into your house. It's time to change that key position.
No, she dropped her key.
Oh, I thought she picked up we hide it under a rock or something.
Oh, why do all the characters look like they're about to cry?
That's a design decision. I will say too, they mentioned if someone tries to take a photo of them, it will be blurred.
Okay, that's cool. So, I dig that.
It doesn't matter how steady you are; the photo of you gets blurred out.
It's fun. I'm sure. I'm sure the show has good ideas, but right now I'm more interested in magical girl superheroes than magical girl battle royale. Right now I'm more I would rather have it be just like a traditional superhero show because I like the idea of it, but I know it's not, and it might be better, but it's Nemarine. She's the make hamburger country. Winter prison. I like that they have little aliases. You're right. I think that's fun.
Mm-hmm. And like it's not uncommon for that to happen, but I guess these ones maybe seem a little more extravagant than what I'm used to.
Well, because
it's not like, oh, I'm Sailor this or I am Precure that.
Right.
These are all totally separated from each other.
Right. No, I agree. I think that's fun. How does she have the top score? I'm a little curious as to what makes what the score is done for. Is it just per good deed, or is destroying a mob better than helping an old lady across the street?
I don't know.
It's
I hope we'll find out.
Yeah. Oh, she has cat eyes. Oh, she almost stayed up till midnight. I like the little app that they have.
Mm-hmm. I wish that they would just keep it on her own phone. This is a personal, subjective thing.
Yeah,
I feel like that would lock it in reality more. Oh no, she saw the Dark and Brooding Girl, and she was in the commercial bumper. Oh no. Alright, so now she has a meeting to get trained up.
I like that they said on the tallest steel tower instead of an address.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have the European maid-esque looking character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have much to talk about except for the fact that I'm just waiting for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a little it's interesting because we know what's going to happen. We know what's going to take place. So instead of it waiting like as to throw you off, it's more of a suspense building. You're like, what is going to cause this to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a fun story. It's like that dramatic irony, and that's a fun element that Madoka doesn't get.
Mm-hmm.
So they're even talking about how each of the girls has their own little personality that they take on based off of how they develop their character. So you have this outlaw gunslinger. Mm-hmm. I think that's cool.
Your persona sort of develops out of it, yeah. I am a little worried based on how quickly they're front loading. In one sense that's realistic, but in terms of storytelling it's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
It feels like they're having to establish things that, unfortunately, again, for people who are listening, we're going to talk about Madoka a lot, but it feels like they're mentioning things that Madoka had to establish over time, and they're front loading it to be like, yeah, it's a Madoka situation.
Right, because they're talking about how each magical girl sticks to certain districts.
Mm-hmm.
And they just straight up called the ninja girl a tsundere.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm
excited.
Again, this show is a little too honest, I think. It doesn't feel like it's building suspense. It feels like the suspense has been broken and now we're just kind of waiting.
That's a good way to put it. See, it's interesting because they're one's a ninja too. They're straight up talking about how the outfits don't fit the traditional magical girl aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. You're probably the most typical among us. Oh, you're poster girl.
And it's interesting because when you look at other dark magical girl shows, I can only think of two off the top of my head. they still come to the idea of having the aesthetics kind of meet each other, so it still feels like a magical girl show instead of a superhero show. It really seems that they wanted to do superhero with the magical girl ideologies, but they kind of strayed away from it. They made one character like, this character is a magical girl, everyone else is a superhero or a witch or a ninja. And so it's, oh, this is the boy.
Oh, it's him.
So that's interesting.
Good for him.
Good for him. I actually liked that. I don't know if they're going to kind of dip into the trans aspect of this, or if they're just going to focus on like it being it's a magical girl situation. I don't know if he or she refers to himself as she, or if it's just a magical girl transformation and not a. I mean, it's not the themes are definitely there.
Yeah, it's. I feel like this is the problem we're running into, is we want this to go deeper than it's going. And it makes me wonder what the rest of the season is about, if not answering these questions.
Soccer's fun too, but I have extra room for magical girls.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So
we got to you got to counterpoint the mages thing earlier, you know.
Right.
That's nice.
So in magical girl form, completely biologically female, according to him. But I don't know if she considers herself. I want it to go deeper. You're right. I think that would be really, really cool, and it'd be a really good aspect to the show. I haven't shown. I want to like this like a lot, and I like the ideologies. I like the focus on their screen names and their personas, and I don't think we're going to figure out if we're gonna like the show after one episode, because I'm sure it's going to end right about now. So it did end.
Fascinating.
Okay,
Whoa.
that's frustrating. Yeah.
Seriously?
So it's over.
Oh my gosh. This is... Wow. I don't know where to start.
So let's talk about the good things. I know we've talked a lot about the good things, but I want to talk a little bit more in depth about the good things and why I like them. As I mentioned, I sort of like the idea of them focusing on the superhero aspect, or where they're just kind of your friendly neighborhood magical girl, without having to deal with all these shadow beasts or these monsters. I think it's a fun idea to kind of look at the magical girls as heroes, sort of like a Sailor V-esque thing, because in Sailor Moon you get a little bit of how Sailor Venus was considered a superhero and how she would help the police and stuff, but you only get a little bit of insight into that part of her life, and I think it's interesting. I think it could be done really well. I like that a lot. Yeah,
I wish that this show were playing a little bit more to its allegorical potential.
Right.
I'm a super big fan of that. So gonna go off track really quickly. There's a show on Netflix called Hilda. Something I like about it being a cartoon about an imaginative young girl, is that nearly every episode can be understood as being literal or imagined.
Right.
And there isn't really like a say in which it is. But there aren't ever, at least from what I've seen in the show, which I've seen quite a bit, there aren't those locking points that suggest, oh, yeah, this is actually happening, or, oh, no, it's all in her head. It could go either way. It plays coy about it. I kind of wish they would lean in with that a little more, because they've really got the potential here. What with the app and, basically the the front-loaded mentions of, like, what if it's just people going out and cosplaying and stuff. There is a version of this that works on either of those levels. I guess because it's the first episode, I would love to see them tease with that. Which is to say, like, there's a lot of different ways this could go, and that excites me. I can only hope that those positive aspects, ones you've mentioned so far, ones that I've mentioned, hold up. Other good things that you can think of.
I don't like the character designs.
Okay. Maybe
I know that's not positive.
Let's play this a little more free and loose, and just go with what comes to mind, because I agree with you there.
I think that not only are some of them overly sexualized, but some of them are just boring.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they straight up told, or like, oh, the main character looks the most like a magical girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they could have made them all look like magical girls, but make them look, make the ninja girl look like a magical ninja girl instead of just a straight up ninja.
Yeah.
Oh.
I totally get where they're coming from, where it's like, hey, your projection of yourself is turning you into this magical girl.
Right.
But I do think there's like a bit of a hang up with that in the app, in that the app is already giving you like a very traditional magical girl aesthetic. So for the people who aren't that into magical girls, I'm not convinced that they would actually have picked up this app and used it. Like Ninja Girl that they keep teasing. I don't yet have the impression that she would, actually pick that app for its aesthetics, for its gamification, style gameplay, and actually own it, and then hit the accept button, and boom, you're a magical girl.
Right. And I'm sure they'll go deeper into each of the main characters' personality, unless they kill them off first, because I know this show loves to kill off its characters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that it's interesting, because I like the world they've built. I don't care where they want to take it. Like, I do care where they want to take it, and I don't think where they took it helps the world that they built. It doesn't build off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we haven't done a second episode of the same show. I would like to maybe do another episode. I think we should do
a retrospective on this when we finish. I think we should follow through with this one.
Okay, so I think what I would like to finish this one, and I know this might be a really short episode because the first episode is a lot of front loaded lore, and not
we said the last one was gonna be a short one, and it almost like maybe 3 minutes shorter. So we'll who knows where this will go. Well, let's keep this organic, but
I'm interested to see where it goes, and I'm totally okay with finding a spot where I don't care about it after this. But the first episode did a good job at making you want to see where things go. Maybe not because it was exciting, or maybe not because it was fun to watch. It was fairly boring. Not a lot happened. They just kind of explained the system that was in play. But knowing, and you know what, that might be why they opened it with the bloody room full of magical girl corpses.
Because they realized they wouldn't get to it fast enough. Interesting.
Right. And so they wanted people to know what's coming, but they were not going to do it on the first episode.
Yeah, it is a hammer to nail kind of hook that they've put in here. Like, don't worry, it's gonna get grimdark. Just wait. I don't know if I'm a big fan of that.
I don't know if I am either. I would much rather this be either a more traditional magical girl show where it is just kind of a modernized format of crime fighting magic, or make it a little bit more subtle dark, where you feel like something's wrong but you're not entirely sure what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely I'm not excited about watching magical girls kill each other.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I mean, sometimes you are, just not here.
Not here. and I think because they give a bunch of characters right off the bat, I'm not entirely sure if they're going to. What I would want them to do is make sure that I care about the characters before they start killing each other.
Mm-hmm. Now, we don't even know if they will kill each other, though. Cause
right, these could be a team.
The pile of bodies, was like, there was one monster and one person left standing. So, like, who knows? Maybe this is not an at each other's throats kind of situation.
And it could not be. I did at one point, I don't remember, but I did watch a death compilation, and there are definitely magical girls that just murk each other.
Okay.
Straight up. But that doesn't mean that this group fights each other.
Mm-hmm.
They don't seem to be hurting for these good boy points that they're getting from helping out people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for mentioning, hey, you got the high score, they really only mentioned it.
Right.
I almost feel like this show, it's weird. I think it moves a little too fast in the sense that it's not digging deep into its own concepts. It feels like it's introduced a lot of things that it's going to delve into in later episodes, but I guess I'm the type of person who would like to see a concept explored to its, to essentially to its floor, and then we move on to the next concept and we dive into that. Because until then, all of the skeptical parts of my brain are firing like crazy.
Right.
All these things we kept bringing up, like, what's up with the blurry photos? What's up with these points they're getting? Why this, why that? What's the end? How do they untransform? It's weird because this show is built to address those claims really quickly, and in that case, it totally pegged me. But in the other sense, like, I feel like I'm kind of missing some surprise factor. It's strange that it feels like they're setting up for things that I should get, surprised about, and I'm not super high energy about it. I just want it to kind of play forward. It's almost like they broke their own pace. They said, all right, let's bring it back down to a walk. That's what I'm nervous about.
Yeah. So I'm reading ahead on some of the plot lines, and it does seem that what's going on is whoever has the lowest amount of candies at the end of the season gets dropped out, and I'm guessing that's going to be the cause of this fight.
I don't know if I like that forced tension. Because I feel like they had it just fine where it is, in the sense of, like, if we gamify these kinds of, like, social acts, there ideally would come to a point where it buckles, right? That there's no more good things to do in a given moment. You've done all you can, and therefore, like, maybe in a more well-to-do area of the city, you can't get your points. Meanwhile, someone is busting ass in a place of, a lower economic status, a place that needs more help, but because only one city gets one girl, they're getting, physically and mentally destroyed in the process.
Right.
And exploring that, people are upset because they don't have enough to do. People are upset because they're overwhelmed. I feel like they could use that to sort of make a statement, and I don't get the sense that they're going to go for it.
Right. I think what we're going to get is we're going to I'm really, really worried that we're going to lose the what's her friend's magical girl name? We're going to lose La Pusela. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think that she's going to die, which is because it makes so much sense to kill her off in terms of easy writing and easy drama,
right?
And I don't want that to happen because I like the idea of that character.
Yeah, I think that there is something to be said about, like, how much you bend something before it breaks. There is a kind of satisfaction to having to put the torque in, and then finally something splits.
Right.
It feels like this show is not bending. It's they demonstrated right off the bat, here's the break, and now we're getting a lot of waiting. We're holding the popsicle stick, and we're kind of examining it, but we haven't bent it at all yet. There's a surprising lack of tension so far, but we know it's going to get snapped at some point. It's just when.
Which if you compare it to, like, once again, if you compare it to Madoka didn't give you the tension outright. It didn't say, hey, once you become a magical girl, bad things happen.
Mm-hmm.
It just had two conflicting people talking about it, and you as the viewer, the audience, knew something was wrong.
Yeah, it was atmosphere, and it was, cinematic direction.
Oh, and the music.
Yeah.
That was super important to how Madoka made you feel. And like you said, if there wasn't an opening at the start of this where there was just a pile of magical girl corpses, I would agree with you and not think that there's anything out of the ordinary about the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't feel uneasy.
In a way, they've succeeded and they've misstepped here. Because, like, they got us. We're totally talking it up, right? We're engaging with this product, basically. But I think it's us theorizing, and it's us sort of... I don't want to say the words doing the writer's job, because that's not what it is.
Right.
Because we've only seen one episode. But it feels like we are playing with very little information and just doing hypothetical after hypothetical. In that sense, we're missing substance. And I feel like you get that through depth. That was something that I feel like, I don't know that it's objectively important. But even if you look at, like, your everyday Sailor Moon Precure type of, like, let's solve a problem an episode, they have to take that and run its course, They will get to the message. They will get to the, depth of the situation. And I don't think we're getting it here. I think we're getting lots of ripples.
Which is funny because that's one of the characters.
Yeah.
That was a good joke, apparently.
But we're not breaking the surface. I mean, heck, that exact character, Ripple, got introduced, like, as a sideways glance, and in, like, the in-between commercial section, and then we didn't even return to her. Like,
I have a feeling that she is going to be I have a feeling, my prediction is that, and once again, I did watch a death compilation. I will say, I don't remember anything about it. I don't remember who died, who killed who. I just remember seeing a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the main character, Snow White's childhood friend, is going to die, and then Ripple is going to replace her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As her partner.
Mm-hmm. Once again, in that sense, they're tonally succeeding here. Like, they're giving us those nonverbal cues that something's up and whatnot, but they did have to get there by first showing a dead cast. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, I think we will. What we should do is just, instead of watching an episode and then doing a episode on it, I think we should watch it on our own time, and then come back to it after we finished it.
I think that makes sense. Yeah. I feel like we've run the course of productivity on these hypotheticals. At some point, we just need to see the rest of it, and then we'll come back.
And which is a lot different than Battle Girl High School or Milky Homes, which is something that's pretty. I know we did say we'd watch Milky Homes, but we kind of wanted to watch Milky Homes because it was fun.
It's a cut and dry gag show. Yeah.
Right. I think Battle Girl High School gave you all that it could at the start, and it was done, and you're like, I don't care. Milky Homes seemed fun. This show has some legitimate interesting bits that I want to see if they play out and make me go, well, that was much better than expected, or if they fall flat and it becomes just this edgy bloodbath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Comparisons aside, I do think they're showing competency, and I want them to hit the high notes.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too.
We'll see.
I feel like this is our most positive episode ever for a show that we are coming into,
Which
just
is,
thinking we were going.
Exactly. Strange, considering we were ready for this to be a disaster. You never know.
And to be fair, as I mentioned earlier, I thought it was going to be straight up like edgelord, not very subtle, and I don't think
it was
will
to
be,
start. And it's really not too subtle throughout. You know, like a lot of this is explained through characters giving dialogue. But hey, you know, I am willing to see where it goes. I'm asking for depth, so I should give it that chance. That's what I feel like.
Yep, I agree. So, thank you for listening to the 3rd episode of Familiar Territory. If you liked it, please like, subscribe, or not. We're not your dad. We'll be trying to get an episode out once a week, and if you are listening and have any suggestions, I know that at this moment we don't have a very large audience, but we will probably take your suggestions seriously and do an episode if you want us to.
Mm-hmm. And once we hit 17 viewers, we're going to start a Magical Girl team, so you know,
yeah,
make sure you've got your favorite color in mind. We'll send out a Google form, fill that out. And then as soon as you hit that accept button, I hope you're ready to transform.
Hell yeah.
No stopping
All
there.
Right. My name's Grant.
My name's Brantley.
And thanks for listening.